What's up? What's up, guys? Good morning. Good morning. Running a little bit late today. My kids aren't home. They're at my mother-in-law's, and so I actually got to sleep in a little bit this morning. So running a little bit late. Trying to wake up, drink my coffee. It actually doesn't look that bad though. They added A and Y to Tefts, and so I can trade this one. And so A and I is probably the biggest one on my watch list. It had a pretty big day yesterday, moving up from about 260 all the way to 6 something, 630s. It's at 634 now, gapping up from 661. So technically it's actually gapping down, but yesterday it pushed up over 100%, it looks like, yesterday. So gonna watch A and Y. It's definitely moving some in pre-market. It's about break even too. I mean, it's not compared to how much it moved yesterday, it's not down a ton or anything. It's just down. So we'll see what happens with it. Also looking at NBEV, gapping up from 382 to 397. Gonna watch that one. NIO, keeping an eye on that one as well. FL Foot Locker is gapping up some. Probably earnings. I'm guessing it's earnings, but we'll see why in a minute. Looking at PDD, gapping up some. Had a big day yesterday. QD, BZUN. So we got a few I'm watching. We'll see what happens with some of these. USLV. Just looking at my scanners, seeing what's popping up on them. I mean, it doesn't look like a bad morning. I thought today would be slower than it is right now, but it's not looking that bad here. At least for NBEV, ANY, NIO, FL, QD, CGC, CRON, PDD. Those don't look that bad. Star traders, so anything that's tradable on TradeNet is shortable. So for instance, anything that says Y under tradable is shortable. So like, even though short size doesn't mean anything, it may mean something, but it doesn't mean I can't short it. Let's see if I can use an example. An example would be PDD from yesterday. I shorted PDD and it has a 0 under short size, and so it's still tradable and shortable. And I actually saw them confirm this yesterday online. I saw somebody ask the same question, and they confirmed that as long as it says Y under tradable, you could short it. So that's what I ultimately look for. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It has to set up for my strategy in order for me to use it. Nah, Eric. Mitch is at work, I think. I don't think he's going to be back here until Monday. I think I could text him. Let me text him and see if he's working today. What's up, two-way? What's up, brother? Good morning, man. Yeah, we'll see how today goes. I was looking at my stats from October or from November. The reason I can't get my stats before that is because I switched to a student account, so it's actually a different account. But let me pull those up. I mean, I'm not like, my stats aren't that bad. Some guy was in here telling us that, why are we losing and everything, and so my stats really aren't that bad. The whole of my game is definitely Thursdays, but you can see my graph here. My graph's not bad from November thus far. I just need to scale up because at this point, any gains I make, commissions are taking away from that, and any losses I make, commissions are adding on to it. And so I'm actually down in the account, even though my graph is up from commissions mostly. If you use 100 shares, commissions are so much bigger. They're so much bigger of a percentage of those gains, and so I need to scale up. I need to just commit to a larger sizing and not go back down. But I don't think my graph is that bad here. You can see. Let's see if I can find it. Thursdays are terrible. My average gain on a Monday is $13.25. Tuesday it's $4.50. Wednesday it's $3.50. Thursday it's $9.67, and Friday it's $3.60. So I have a gain on average every day of the week except for Thursday. That's what I don't like. And you can see gross average trade profit and loss. And so it hasn't been too bad, but this just shows me I really need to use larger sizing. My daily accuracy has been decent. It's probably like 60 something percent. But I really need to use larger sizing. That's the thing I need to do. I need to just commit to it. I don't know, two-way. Look at A and Y, brother. For sure. I mean, I'm happy with my chart. I mean, it's not the prettiest of charts. Like, if you look at it, it's not the prettiest of charts, but it's an up chart. It's moving up. It's not bad. Um, and so I just need to use bigger size and compensate for it a little bit. See how I can, bring it out. But it's not a bad chart. My stats aren't bad. People can hate. That's fine. Yeah, it's just gonna take a little bit of time to get used to large sizing, and that's what I was trying to say. Like, as I'm trying to scale up, I might take some losses that are bigger than I usually do, and that's okay. But the last thing I want is people like we had yesterday sitting there trying to criticize when I do take those larger losses that I'm used to, just because it's a process, man. I'm trying to scale up in sizing. It takes a little while. I think, like I said yesterday, I think the trading world has it's tough to say, man. I think the trading world in general is very misleading to traders, and I think traders get the wrong impression on how profitable trading really is. Profitable trading really isn't never having a red day. That's not a reasonable expectation, is to never have a red day. Profitable trading is, you're going to have red weeks, you're going to have red days, but if you have more green days than red, and you're using good enough risk and reward, then you'll be fine. But too many traders on YouTube just upload their winners, never upload their losers, and so that's all traders see. Traders think these traders are super profitable when really they're just uploading their winners. They're not showing you the losers. They're not showing their account balance either. And I guess I'm just trying to talk about it because I feel like it needs to be talked about, but that's the wrong precedent to set. They get the wrong impression about trading, and then when they see somebody like me who's actually showing people everything, you know, they're like, well, why doesn't he have a green day every day? Because that's not real, you know. I'm on trade ideas, Louis. But what's up, brother? What's up, Louis? Good morning, man. Welcome, brother. Near threes. Just gotta give up some gains to get down to threes, though, man. I doubt it'll get back down to threes today, but who knows? But yeah, I mean, NBEVD doesn't look bad. I just want to see some volume today. No, two-way. No, don't get me wrong, man. I'm not like sulking in my depression right now. I just woke up late. Uh, my kids aren't home today. They're at my mother-in-law's, and so I stayed out late last night and went and saw a movie with my wife at like 10. I didn't get home until like 12:30 or like 1. Didn't go to bed until like 1:30. And so I got like 5 hours of sleep. So don't get me wrong, I'm not like down, I'm just tired. I probably sound super down today. Just kind of depressed and bummed out. No, I'm not like that right now, man. I'm just tired. But man, it's just I just didn't get any sleep. This is how I sound when I first wake up. I try to wake up before the stream usually. I'm drinking some coffee. You know, I'll be up in a second and alert, but I gotta wake up a little bit. But yeah, it's so cold here in Texas, man. I'm not used to it. But yeah, any looks good. Main ones on my watch list are probably A and Y, just because even though it's actually gapping up now. It has a big range so far for A and Y, you know, and it's up. I could dare say it's overextended. Let me look at the daily chart. I mean, here's what I see for the A and Y chart. Almost every single time this stock has moved up in the last year for A and Y, it comes back down. Typically that same day or the next day. Now, this is honestly a bigger push up than it has previously. We'll have to look up the news. To the drive-in movie. Yeah, we went and saw Bohemian Rhapsody. It was alright. I tried to get her to go see Creed too. She didn't want to go see it. Yeah, that's the benefit of having my daughter here. My daughter will go see action movies with me. Like, my daughter and I go see, like, every superhero movie. Like, every Marvel movie there is. Every Jurassic World. You know, my wife, she refuses. Yeah, man. I mean, for the overall market, my wife was asking me what was going on with the market yesterday. And I told her, like, most of the gains have been, you know, taken out in the last 3 weeks or so. You know, if you look here, we got down to that low, you know, like a year ago, we were at 259 on the SPY, around 258, 259. And we touched 259.60s a few weeks ago. Yeah, for sure. She's not that bad though. Like, my wife will watch like horror movies with me. She just won't watch action movies. You know. But yeah, you know, I don't know what the market's gonna do. Oh, two-way. I just started that, man. It was so good, dude. I watched the first season, the first Narcos as well, but I started Narcos Mexico or not yesterday, this weekend, this past weekend I started it. I'm on like the 4th episode. Super good, super good. Alright, but looking at my scanner here, we'll look up the news in a second. IMPX is gapping up as well from 415 to 449. Volume's a little bit low. There's also ADSK, which is gapping up, a little bit more expensive of a stock though. MBEV doesn't look bad. Gonna watch Kron. It's up some as well. Kind of Green Day. QD. Let's see if some of these are tradable. I know a little bit of Spanish two-way, enough to understand what they're saying if they're speaking it slow enough. You know. QD's tradable. So it seems like they added some stocks on here. QD is tradable. NBEV is tradable. A&Y is tradable. NIO. Seems like they added some stocks to trade here. ACRX is up as well. We'll look up the news in a second. I was trying to read that in Spanish. The House of... Joe, some stocks are tradable, some stocks aren't. Somehow on TEF, some houses, sorry, I had the CASA thing. Some stocks are tradable, paper. Some stocks are tradable on TEF, some stocks aren't. And so most of the time it's cheaper stocks that had low volume that aren't tradable. But generally stocks over $10 are. Appreciate the $5 donation, Sean. Appreciate it, brother. Thanks, man. Appreciate the support, bro. Yeah, the dono, Eric. Appreciate it, man. Been a fan for a couple months. Keep up the quality work. Thanks, brother. Yeah, man. I mean, I think I'm always going to keep the stream free. Joseph. Yeah, I was looking at T and DM as well. But yeah, it means a lot, man. Appreciate the donation, brother. That's awesome. T and DM, I've traded it before. Had a little VWAP bounce yesterday. Todd, get out of here, man. How do you place your buy orders market limit at Ask or other? I used to just get in on the for shorts. I used to just get in on the Ask. Lately, since they implemented that new rule, I've just been using market orders, and it's been fine. I thought I enabled you to two-way. It's still not letting you. I'll have to check it out. Give me a second. Yeah, so I've been using market orders. I like I've always said, I do not recommend using market orders on a conventional broker. I think you definitely get some slippage with market orders on a regular broker. But with TEFs, my fills have been decent with market orders. You know, I've been getting filled within 1 cent from the spread, and so, you know, there's been a lot of fuss about the switch from limit orders and market orders and stuff like that. But when I've gotten filled, I'd never have gotten filled more than 3 cents away from the spread using a market order, and so it hasn't been that bad for me. At least for me. I don't know about everybody else, but my experience with market orders hasn't been that bad. Two-way. If you want to donate, man, you just click the money sign under the chat box. But don't feel any obligation to, brother, you know? Listen, man, like, I appreciate any support I can get, obviously. And I really appreciate any donations I get. But, you know, don't feel like you need to, man, you know? John, how do you like the student program compared to the intro? When you say program, do you mean the class or do you mean the actual account? You mean the account? I mean, I like the account. I just have more room. And I really need to use bigger sizing because if I don't, I'm not going to. I'm gonna take away my advantage. Yeah, you get more buying power. That's about it. I mean, you just get more buying power. You get more buying power, a bigger max loss, and so you have more room. It's tough, man. It's tough to take $700 and turn that into something. It really is. And so student account gives you some more room. What's up, the best? Good morning, man. Yeah, the sale's pretty good, man. I was kind of bummed out. I didn't buy mine during the sale. I mean, it's like $700 off the student account. I was kind of bummed out I missed it, but no stress. Yeah, I was calculating my profit and loss here. And it's tough, man, For sure, man. I mean, it's hard. Oh, for sure. And I've seen people do that, Abby. 100%. Appreciate the sub, Bastion. Matt, prepared as well. But yeah, if anybody is wanting to sign up to TradeNet, you can go through my link. They have the Black Friday sale going on right now, and it's 25% off. Excuse me. It's 25% off. I make a commission from it, but if you want to support the channel, you can go through my link. But yeah, I think it's going on until the 26th. I'm not 100% sure, though. I think it's the 26th that the sale's going on. Yeah, I mean, I honestly think, Mr. Charts, I honestly think that that TAFs and TradeNet is really good for like traders trying to learn with small sizing because commissions are cheaper. And so you can kind of learn with small sizing and kind of do what I've been doing with it. Like that's what I think that really shines for. If I ever get my account over 25K, I'm probably going to go to a big boy broker, as would most people. But I think for the time being, it's an okay option. You know. Yeah, D's the new. I have one. Let me see if I can find it. This is just the gap scanners. I can put it up here. I have breaking out on volume, which is almost the same thing. Let me see if I can find one. A high of the day scanner. Usually what I do is I keep the gap scanners up until the market opens, and then right before the market opens, I put like the high of the day scanner and a few other ones. Just for the time being, here's one for new daily highs. And then once I open up the actual stream, we'll see a different one. That's the great thing about trade ideas, though, is they have lots of preset scans that you can use. What's up, Fetty? Yeah, I got you. I got you, Fetty. Hold on one second, bro. Yeah, Fetty, this is what I'm watching right now. We'll see if anything else pops up. Yeah, I mean, it's that's what I think it's really about, Jeff. I think it's really about learning. I think people. I don't know. I think most overseas brokers do what Tefs does. I'm not gonna go rant about it. But I think most brokers do what Tefs does. I think it's just kind of one of those things that overseas brokers do. Yeah, QD's gapping up. I mean, I don't know what it's gonna do. All I can do is look at the daily chart really for some of these. Try to map out the support and resistance now. But yeah, my biggest habit is breaking small sizing. What's up, Jason? Yeah, Jason, man. Hey, I sent you an email, man. Check your email, Jason. You commented about my Amazon biz, Jason, and so I sent you an email. I actually wrote a book on the subject, and it's actually ranked pretty high. Um, and so I sent you a link to it. Let me know if you want me to send you it. What's up, Hussein? What's up, brother? Good morning, man. Yeah, Jason. Yeah, man. I mean, I have about 40 books published right now on Kindle. I'm not like a professional author or anything, but it's I make some side money, uh, self-publishing. I have about 40 I make royalties from each month that I all wrote a few years ago. I outsourced some of them, but I wrote some of them too. And the one I sent you is one I actually wrote. Was it you, John? I think it was Jason too. Hold on, let me look. I think it was Jason too. Yeah, it was Jason too. Yeah. No, they're not on the stock market. A lot of them are on. There's a broad range of topics. Just because, like I said, I outsourced some of them. I hired ghostwriters for some of them, but some of them I wrote myself. They were on like thrifting, selling on Amazon, a lot of different stuff. Honestly, man, I got one on beekeeping. I got one on tiny houses, shipping container homes, a lot of different topics. Um, I could tell you how, Patrick, but honestly, man, there's probably a lot of free information, bro. Todd, man, get out of here. Okay, I'll check it out, John. I didn't see it. I thought I didn't see yours, man. All right, we got Roku. Yeah, man, it made me laugh, Eric. But yeah, I'm actually proud of the book I sent you, Jason, man. Like, that's one of the ones I wrote myself. And I wrote that book years ago, and it's still ranked within the top 5. I'm not going to say the category, because then people will know exactly what book I'm talking about. But it's still ranked in the top 5. And so I'm proud of that book, man. All right, though. So watching A and Y, NBEV, NIO, FL, Foot Locker, QD. We'll see what QD does. Needs some more volume. Watching Kron, the other cannabis stocks, PDD. Like I said, NBEV, I think. BZUN, maybe some of these ETFs. We'll see what happens. I just have to commit to bigger sizing. I may take bigger losses than I'm used to, and that's okay. Because at this point, I just need to get used to bigger sizing, and then once I'm comfortable with that, I can start focusing on making a little bit more money. I think I've talked about the process before, but the way the process usually works for me is like show consistent gains, consistent gains, consistent gains. Okay, I need to move up in sizing. Try to move up. First trade with bigger sizing. Take a big loss. Kind of run away from big sizing, scared. Go back to small sizing. Show consistent gains, consistent gains. Move back up to sizing. First trade's a big loss. Go back down to small sizing. And it just kind of rinse and repeat. And it's been that for like 6 months. And so, like I said, I need to commit to bigger sizing. And I may take bigger losses when that happens. And I just need to accept that and be okay with that and understand that that may happen. In the end, it'll play out. You know, it'll compensate for itself. I might not be used to it. Might need to manage my emotions a little bit more that I'm used to with smaller sizing and just kind of work my way up to bigger sizing. Yeah, man, that's really my goal, Mr. Charts. Is I just want to get up to 300 shares. Um, like I just want to get 300 shares. Right, partial out 200, hold 100. That seems reasonable. That seems super reasonable, Todd. That's really like where I need to get to because this 100 shares, like you can see by my charts, man. My charts aren't bad, you know. Like my chart isn't bad, you know. It's an up chart. It's a green chart, you know. Daily accuracy is okay, but you know, when my average gain is like $3 or $4 on the day, you know, it's kind of hard to keep an account in profits with those commissions just taking the toll. And so it happens, man. You know, when I lose, it makes it worse. You know, the losses are much bigger because of commissions, and the winners are smaller. And so I just need to, like I said, what that tells me is that I need to maybe consider not trading on Thursdays because Thursdays have been kind of the hole in my game. It may just be from these losses here and here on Thursdays. Every loss was on a Thursday except for this one on the 14th, and so that's what kind of my graph shows me. But I just need to use bigger size and compensate for that a little bit. Oh, you want? Oh yeah, you want CNBC on Thinkorswim. So to get CNBC on Thinkorswim, you go to this section here, and you see I already have it up here. It's Trader TV. I can delete the gadget, but to get it, you would just click on one of these things right here. You can see these little 3 lines, and if I move my screen over a little bit, you'll be able to see it better. But you click on this, you go to Switch Gadget, and there'll be all these different options here. For CNBC, you could just go to Trader TV, and then you like side click and go to CNBC. But you go to Trader TV here. That's where CNBC is gonna be. VNet. Yeah, I saw VNet pop up on my scanner. All right, guys, we got about 5 minutes left. A little bit a little bit over 5 minutes. What's up, Felix? Good morning, man. We got a little bit over that. I'll look up some news really quick. Gonna look up ANY, see why ANY is moving. So the company named a new CEO on the 16th. Is that really why it's moving? Yeah, I mean the 14th it started moving. Insiders probably, but yesterday it just really took off. Um, what's up, Anders? Yeah, does anybody know why ANY is moving? Weird. Gonna look up NBEV, see the cannabis sector. Appreciate the sub, Jay. Welcome in, appreciate it. Not really see anything new on NBEV. We got Foot Locker looks up, most likely on earnings. You could see FL here. Most likely earnings. Looks like an earnings gap. Air Max boost. Third quarter results. Boost from Nike's latest Air Max lines. So yeah, positive revenue and earnings for Foot Locker from from Air Max. I like Air Maxes. All right, so also looking at QD here. Yes, Joe, it is today. Yeah, that makes sense, Keenan. Uh, QD is up after quarter three profit beat expectations. I'm gonna run to the restroom really quick, guys, before the open. I'll be back in like a minute. Alright, I'm back. Sorry, guys. Alright, let me pull up the screen here. Or the trade idea scans. There's the high of the day scanner. Alright, so watching A and D, QD. We'll see if QD can fill some of this gap here. NIO, Foot Locker. Excuse me. Bell's coming up soon. Here's the bell. There it is, guys. Alright, so good luck. Yeah, I know. I was noticing that. Cool. Yeah, A and Y, the range is just huge. I don't know how to approach that. Obviously, I would have to use smaller sizing, but because the range is like, I don't know, $3 or $4. Right, 100%. Cool. 100% agree. ABIL. Somebody asked me to look at ABIL. Oh, yeah, look at ABIL. It is running. It's up to 406. Sorry, man. I just now noticed that one. All right, so we got MBEV dropping some. QD is just no volume. BZUN up. ANY pushed up, and now it's back. NBEV trying to cross over to VWAP. Gonna watch NIO here, see if it can wash out some. NBEV may be getting rejected. QD, the volume is just slow. A and Y, giving some of it back. Just a big range. Even on the day so far, it's up. It's got about $1 range. Big range. Yeah, 100% two-way. Agree. I think A and Y is something that people get really tempted to trade. But with the way it's been moving, it's a little chaotic. Big green day. QD doesn't look bad. It's just no volume. But it doesn't look bad for a fade here. The volume's just a little low. But I really don't mind it. AMD tanking here. Giving up the gains. NIO pushing up. We got QD pushing up. A and Y falling down. AMD falling down. Everything else a little choppy. But look at NIO go here. NIO is breaking up. A and Y filling some of this gap. ACRX. I'm kind of torn. You know, if A and Y pulls back to 640s, I could set a pretty tight risk at 660 or so. And so I don't necessarily dislike it. I guess I just get worried because the range is big and it could squeeze up to 7, but the risk to reward wouldn't be, it wouldn't be terrible. We'll see. I'm gonna just analyze it as it goes. I wonder if ABIL is tradable. No, it's not. Cannabis stock's moving up some. And I'm looking at AMD here. I guess I wanted to commit to a trend. Downward trend at this point. But up here doesn't look bad at 20s with a risk of 2010. QD giving up that big drop. ABIL is just bouncing off the VWAP over and over again. Yeah, with AMD, I was looking for a pullback here with a risk of here, but it just never really got that high. Unfortunately, ended up coming back down before then. And look at QD, just give up all of those gains already. NIO reverse too. LMFA pop it up with the skaters. Cron bounced off the VWAP yesterday. We'll see if it does it today too. I was looking at NIO for a fade if it gets up to 792s. The only problem I don't like with it is if it does get up to 792, it's going to be over that high of pre-market. I think it may find some support there. So for that, I don't trust it as much for the short just because it's going to have that support underneath it if it does get up to 792 from this high in pre-market. Only reason I don't like it. If not, if that wasn't there, it would look halfway decent, but don't know how safe it would be to short it there. BILI popping up on the scanners. Cisco getting hit some as well. Yeah, no, QD gave it all back, man. I'm looking at QD on my other monitor. Oh, never mind. Weird. Yeah, low volume. I don't want to trade QD. It's just no volume, man. It's the only thing. Like I said, NIO wouldn't be bad if the VWAP was underneath this pre-market high right here at 790. But since the VWAP is over it, and if it breaks over that, you know, it's effectively breaking over the high of pre. I don't like that. Actually, it's not technically the high of pre. The high of pre is actually 794, but it had a lot of resistance there, and so it may turn into support. Excuse me, if it breaks over that 790s. LMFA, yeah, I see LMFA popping up on my scanners. Yeah, BZUN was actually on my watch list as well. Big move up. This is an ETF though, right? Just gonna let the market play out a little bit. I don't see any fades right now. NIO ended up coming back down before. Just never gave me my entry. Cron, maybe a VWAP projection here, but lower percentage setup. But you can see the VWAP, possibly VWAP projection here for Cron. Risk could be, I don't know, 55s. 57. Doesn't look bad. See if it gets rejected here, comes back down. The only reason I don't like it is that it never broke the low. It's still kind of holding that low. We'll see what happens. What's up, James? Yeah, for sure, cool. I don't blame you, man. Maybe kind of a scalping day for sure. NBEV, Cron, getting hit. ABIL is trying there. James, I mean, there's A and Y. There is NIO, Cron, CRON, AMD, QD. INPX is kind of running some. Looks halted. INPX is halted, it looks like. Look at this one. Yeah, you as well. Cool. Have a happy Thanksgiving, brother. INPX though halted on the way up at 535. At this point, maybe looking at AMD. Maybe. If it pulls back to 1988, risk of 95 doesn't look bad. Let's see what NIO does here as well. VWAP's right around that pre-market high at 790. Kind of a slow, choppy day though, guys. Some shorters jumping in here for AMD. If it got up to 86, I would consider it with a risk of 95. Maybe 98, but it just never got that high. But it didn't look bad for AMD. Did it really? It's resumed? Man, yeah, look at INPX, guys. Yeah, AMD looked okay. Just never got to the entry I was looking for. SCON popping up on my scanner. BJ as well. Now, I wouldn't have minded AMD. At this point, is putting in higher lows, and so if it gets up to the VWAP, I don't like it as much. INPX get halted again. Yeah, the only reason I didn't mind AMD, like if this move would have reached the VWAP two-way, like right here, I wouldn't have mind taking it there for a tight risk of like 95, so like a, I don't know, 5, 6, or 10 cent risk. But since it's putting in higher lows, you can see the higher low there. And if it stair steps up to the VWAP, I don't like it as much. It's just a more of a bullish trend than a bearish trend. With the fade, I like to see just a quick move back to the VWAP, just a quick push and then a rejection. But if it stair steps back up there, kind of like what was one NIO yesterday. It kind of shows you this is not what I want to see with fades. Like, I don't want to see a stair step back up to the VWAP, because usually it does this. It just kind of breaks and continues. And so I like quick moves like this. I never quite got there, but you can see I like quick moves like this to the VWAP and then rejections back down. If that makes sense. Yeah, BILI holding over the VWAP, bounced off of it once. Kind of consolidating at this point. Looks to be flagging some for BILI. We'll see what it does at 15. Yeah, there's AMD. I mean, it didn't look bad here. I mean, I know a lot of people were watching it short, but it just never quite got to that VWAP level that I was looking for. Risk to reward just wouldn't have been there. But it followed through nicely. Yeah, there's also a flag on BILI. NIO, same thing. I'm seeing a lot of washouts, just no fades today. Let's see what some ETFs are doing. Bullish trends on ETFs. Nice little follow through on AMD. Like I said, though, it just never got up to the VWAP for my entry. I'm not going to force it if it doesn't, but it didn't look bad at this point. Just never got my entry for my risk and reward to follow through. But it dropped nicely. Yeah, I'm looking at BEV. The volume's a little low. I actually have it on my other monitor. You can see it here in BEV. It's just volume's just a little low for that one. Yeah, exactly, Ivan. You and I are on the same page, man. Let's see what we get. I mean, I'm not going to force anything right now. Didn't see any really fades. What's up, Mihail? Good morning, man. For ABIL, Jason, here, let me look it up real quick, man. Stock purchase agreement for ABIO. They put out a press release that said agreement to acquire supplier that develops and licenses to company on exclusive basis. So it sounds like an acquisition agreement for a supplier. Looks like they're gonna acquire one of their suppliers. That's making it up. I try not to, honestly, Joshua. The thing about halts is you can make a lot of money with halts. Don't get me wrong, with halted stocks. And so you can make some money with halted stocks. But I've seen too many times like a stock gets halted, even if it's pushing up as it's getting halted, and then it just completely fills the gap and just washes people out. Spread is gnarly, and so for that reason, it's just too risky for what I want to trade. I just don't. I don't enjoy trading halted stocks. I think it's just inherently risky. I think there's some money to be made doing it, but only if you're using small sizing and just being calculated, really calculated with it. But it's just not the risk I want to have. You know what I mean? Not hating on anybody that does it. There's definitely money to be made with halted stocks, and if you're long on a stock and it's pushing up and gets halted, it's usually a pretty good thing for you. But there are those outliers where it can just immediately just screw over your account, and so for that reason, I'm just a little skeptical of halts. It's a little bit outside of my price range, but I'm kind of looking at ADSK. It doesn't look like a bad fade. Risk would have to be 89. And so I don't know about that risk. Just too expensive for me. Appreciate the sub, EKA. Anders, JL. Appreciate it. Nice, Jeff. Hey, nice work, brother. Yeah, AMD was a pretty little flag pattern there. But yeah, you can see why I'm looking at ADSK. It's kind of the only one that's actually like fading maybe off the VWAP here. Like I said, the risk in this one would have to be, I don't know, maybe up to 61s. So it'd be like a $1.20 risk. And, you know, I'm not used to trading stocks this expensive, but risk would be here. Reward would be here. And so risk, reward, doesn't look bad. You know, good risk reward. It's just too expensive for me. Something I really don't like trading. I'm kind of just half paper trading it in my head. See if it follows through to those levels. I'm not used to trading these expensive stocks, so I'm not super knowledgeable on how they act in these situations. I mean, it's all subjective, man. You know, for me, it would be a little too early. You know, I would prefer. Oh, for a short bull run. I don't know, man. I mean, you could buy it on the panic. Who knows? You know, I know a lot of traders do that. I'm just not seeing anything I'm really in love with right now. Yeah, it's kind of what I'm looking at, Jason. It's it's tough with AMD. I mean, if it gets up to 1970s, I'll probably consider it. But like I said, man, it's just tough. We'll see. You know, I don't mind the risk for AMD. Not in love with it, but if it gets up there, we'll see. I just haven't seen many fades today. So let's see how accurate this stop is. Look at that. You know, pretty close. Hey, if you have it already, Mihail, send it to me, brother. But yeah, look at that. I mean, my ADSK would have been, I would have followed through with it. I don't know how I would have handled it, though, just because it's a bigger range. Tough to really identify. NBEV's kind of at the VWAP. Still kind of choppy. Be more of a VWAP projection. Risk would have to be up at 4. It's just a small range. I don't know how I would approach this for the VWAP projection. We'll see. SCON popping up on the scanners. I'm just not seeing anything I'm really in love with this morning. Maybe NIO if it gets back up to 784, I would consider it with the risk of 790s. 792 or so, but definitely not in love with any of these moves right now. Kind of a scalper looking day. BILI, nice little BILI bounce there, flag pattern. You can see the flag pattern here with BILA. It's a little bit too late, but it's not really my style, but you can see the flag. You can see the pole here. Let's see if I can draw it out real quick. Once it held support over there, pushed up nicely for BILI. Not a bad little flag play there. All right, Anders, have a good day, brother. Yeah, QD, man. This thing's been super choppy. It's testing 5 again, though. But look at that. It followed my arrows pretty closely here for ADSK. I mean, almost down to the T. Like I said, though, I don't know how I would have handled it, that being my risk. They confirmed it, though, for sure. AMD trying here. Trying to get back up to the VWAP. Risk would have to be $90 or so. So about a 13-cent risk for AMD. I don't know. Yeah, I feel you, Jeff. I'm kind of right there with you, brother. Doesn't look half bad, though, for AMD. It's just, it's kind of close to this move. And, like, I want to see a bigger bearish trend, if that makes sense. Like, I want to see lower highs. And so it's kind of putting in equal highs if it gets up to 78 or so. Yeah, that's what happened. Yeah, Jason. That's rough, man. That's tough, dude. Alright, I mean, we'll see what happens here. AMD never quite got to the VWAP. You know, I was looking at it with a risk of, I don't know, 90 or so, but just never got up there. May find some support at this 1950 level here. AMRN. What happened with AMRN? Bounce off that VWAP was pretty for the most part. Cracked under it a little bit, but didn't look bad. INPX giving these gains back. I'll be right back, guys. I'll be back in like a minute. What's up, guys? All right, so I'm back. Yeah, it looked like AMD actually kind of faded off the VWAP. It was a little early though, but it faded nicely. It followed through. Damn bathroom breaks, huh? I don't know if I would have taken it. One of ways I'm kind of tweaking my setup is I'm trying to get in a little bit later, um, just to give me a little bit better risk and reward. But it followed through okay. Definitely a longer term fade. Niraj. Yeah, I mean, I'm just trading live. Like you could see my executing broker. I just haven't traded today yet. I haven't seen anything that I really liked. On weeks like this, I need to wait for A plus setups. If I don't see any really A plus setups, then I'm not gonna force anything and jump in something that doesn't look good. The only decent one I've actually seen thus far was AMD right here, but it still didn't get to my entry. When it was up here, the VWAP was actually at 1980s or so. And so it just failed to get up there. It was about 10 cents away from there. And for me to have such good risk and reward that in that trade, I would have had to get to that level first, which is no stress. I mean, I'm not going to force it. I'm not going to force trades just because I don't see anything I like. I think one thing I noticed about my stats, right? You can see my chart and my stats here. One thing I noticed about these stats after reviewing the stream is that on the weeks where I actually skip at least one day during the week, they're almost always green weeks. And I think that's because my mindset was in the right place on those weeks. You know, I was in a more selective, disciplined mindset. And then weeks where I trade every single day without skipping a day, usually I think my mind was in the wrong place, and that's when I take bigger losses, and it was losing in the last month or so. But yeah, it's just at this point, you know, these gains are great. The chart's nice and everything, you know, but I need to use bigger sizing because in order to take advantage of that chart, I have to use bigger sizing. My account's actually down because I'm using such small sizing. And so that's the next kind of step in my trading evolution is to get up to some bigger sizing, kind of compensate for those commissions. But look at ADSK, man, you know. I drew these arrows before this, and look how accurately it followed these levels. Maybe I should look at these expensive stocks. I mean, I don't usually trade stocks this expensive, but I called out these levels and it followed it. And so maybe I should consider more expensive stocks, you know. But like I said, not going to experiment in weeks like this. I don't think. I think it's slow because of the holiday, so I think a lot of traders are taking the day off. Volume actually hasn't been that bad though, if I'm being honest. I just haven't seen any fades. I want to see some fades in order for me to get in. AMD was probably the best one I've seen thus far. Yeah, it's because I haven't traded any Niraj. You know, I haven't traded any today, so unrealized, realized, total P and L is all zero because I haven't traded at all. This is probably the one move that I would have taken if you know, I usually don't mind getting in early, but I actually think I need to fix that hole in my game. Even though this one would have worked out, I think getting in early hurts my risk and reward in the trade. And so I really need to let it test the VWAP first. What's A and Y doing here? Man, A and Y just filling that gap. You know, just filling that gap. I don't think I would dislike like a long play here. Like I don't usually take longs, but kind of taking advantage of the same concept of the fade. Um, Even though the accuracy would probably be low, you can set a risk of a little bit under the low of the day, maybe 29s. Get in long, set a profit target of around the VWAP, maybe a little bit under, like here. I don't think that would be a bad long setup. Let it test the $0.50, see if it breaks. But like I said, I don't think the accuracy would be high with this type of setup. I think the risk to reward is good though. Risk of this much, if you bought it at this bottom here at 35, reward of 15 cents, risk of about, I don't know, 8 cents. Not bad. But not going to experiment today. Just going to try to stick to the strategy I use. And if I don't see any, I don't see any. Maybe a little boring stream, but got to be selective. Appreciate the sub, Jessica. Um, Yeah, so I can explain it. My strategy is a short strategy. If I guess I can use AMD as an example, even though it didn't quite follow through with it. I guess it's still an okay example. So I look for a big bearish trend, so a big downward trend at the open. So you can see AMD, big downward trend here. I wait for it to find a bottom. In this case, it would be 1935s or so. And then I wait for it to pull back to the VWAP, which is this purple line here. And that's where I enter short once it pulls back to the VWAP. I'm giving myself a tight risk. Let me see if I can calculate that. Giving myself a tight risk here. So like if I got in short around the VWAP here, my risk could be pretty small. I think in this case I would have given myself 1990, and so my risk would be, I don't know, 15 cents up to about here really. So this is my risk, or my stop loss, whatever you want to call it. And my reward would be at the previous low of the day, which it just kind of tapped, which would be down here. And so my risk is this little small box here, so it's a tight risk, and my reward would be this much. And so it's a big reward, small risk strategy. Better than 2-to-1 reward to risk, and that's what I look to take advantage of, is these moves back down here. You can also see it kind of happened here. Like I said, in the perfect world, I'd like to see it actually touch the VWAP, though. That's the only reason I didn't get in this one, is because it actually didn't touch the VWAP, which is this purple line. I have a video on it I can send you, if you want me to send you the video, man. Why are so many traders become short biased as opposed to long biased? Louis, I think it's just, my mentality is that panic is a stronger emotion than hope. And so a lot of times with shorts, you'll see a big wash, like a big crash. And with longs, you see kind of a stair step, And so I don't know. For my strategy, I just found shorting to be better, at least for me. But every trader's different, man. I think I was a long trader for a long time. No pun intended. But eventually I just realized that shorting it fit better with my personality. I'm naturally pessimistic. My whole strategy revolves around overextension. And so I look for overextended stocks, and I look for them to kind of fill the gap on the way down. Like a good example of it didn't actually follow through. Man, I just dropped my phone. Please don't tell me I cracked my phone just now. Could have sworn I heard a crack on my phone. Oh no, that was my stylus popping out. Well, gotta find my stylus now, but who needs a stylus anyway? Alright, well my phone's fine. But no, most of my strategies revolve around overextension. A and Y, like you can see stocks like this happen all the time, right? You see big overextension on the daily chart. Like if you look at the daily chart on A and Y, every single time this one is pushed up, it crashes back down. Every single time, you can see big move here, fail, 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 fail. If you look at the daily chart, fail, fail, fail. It always comes back down, fail, fail. And so if you look at the daily chart and you see these stocks that always push up, but always come back down too, shorters are definitely watching stocks like this. And that's when you get moves like this during the day, where it just kind of fills a lot of the gap. It just comes right back down. And that is an opportunity in shorting. And this one never followed through with my strategy. It never really faded off the VWAP. I look for overextension and the fade off the VWAP to kind of give me the best chance of success. And this one never did it, but it's a good example of extension. If you look at OGEN is another example of a stock like this. Like if you look at the daily chart, every single time this one moves. Like look at this. Push up, fail, 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 over and over again. And so anytime this thing moves up, shorters are just piling into that thing if they can, if it's not restricted, which it actually may be. But, that gives you an opportunity. That's what I look for. Exactly, Lewis. It's just easier, man. It's just, here's the thing, right? With the strategies I use, I actually back tested the fade. Like the VWAP fade, I've actually back tested it. So I've actually gone through a year sample size, marking down how many times it worked with certain conditions and how many times it failed with those same conditions. And when I back tested it, overall it had a 73% accuracy rate. And so it had a good accuracy rate for trading, right? When you combine that with good risk and rewards, you set yourself up to be successful with that strategy. Back testing is a long, meticulous process, though. It's not, it takes a long time. But, for me, it's just kind of how I do it. I just look for strategies and I back test it. The latest one is I've been looking at longer term fades. Like longer term fades and bounces. Like you get ETFs like this that the fades are just huge. Like you can see a lot of fades here. Here, here. And with some of these ETFs, you just get longer term moves. And the VWAP is a trend indicator. So when it fades like that, it's essentially reinforcing the trend, right? So it's like you see the stock pull back to the VWAP. And, if it pushes over the VWAP, it changes to a bullish trend. And so when you see these big fades off of the VWAP, it's essentially like reinforcing that downward trend. And that's really what I'm taking advantage of in the strategy. It's just reinforcing that downward trend. NIO kind of pulled back to the VWAP here. Never really got that high, but it also kind of stair-stepped up there, so I don't like it as much for that. All right, Abby, have a good day. We'll see you later. Nice job, two-way. But yeah, days like today, I just didn't see many fades. AMD looked okay. But aside from that, I just didn't see any. One of my strengths is just being disciplined and selective, Like if I have a red day, if I have a few red trades, I'm usually done. If I don't see anything I like, I usually just stay out of the market. I think that's how you have to be. Maybe a little boring for the stream. People may get a little impatient, want to see some trades, and that's fine, but I just ultimately have to protect my account and do what I think is necessary. A lot of stuff dropping today, just nothing really fading, except for maybe AMD, if you would consider that a fade, but it wouldn't be an A+, but it followed through. Days like today, I usually just kind of look for maybe some overextension option trades. Definitely not an expert when it comes to options, though. See what we can find. Hey, appreciate it, James. Hey, have a happy Thanksgiving as well, man. Yeah, nice work, two-way. Good job, brother. Yeah, two-way. Did you take advantage of the second fade on it? I noticed you were watching it. This one up here, this one. Yeah, I do as well, two-way. No stress, man. I'm not. I mean, here's the thing. I have my little theses on long plays, but I rarely follow them through. I kind of just mentally paper trade them. One I did notice this morning and call out was BILI for that bear flag. It looked pretty. You can see the flag here. You can see the pole and then the flag held support over that top resistance level and then broke out. Nice two-way. Hey, good work, man. Hey, nice, Louis. Good work, man. I like that entry, 15-16. You got it as it was holding support over that top resistance line. Good job. All right, so I think Friday is a half day, right, guys? I know we don't trade tomorrow for Thanksgiving, but Friday is a half day. You can kind of see this little channel forming on Cron. Let's try to draw this out real quick. You see that channel forming on it? But yeah, guys, it's just one of those days. I just didn't see too much. Like, AMD was probably the most plausible trade I could have made today, but never really got high enough for me to want to short it. Followed through nicely, but never quite got high enough. Yeah, look at ABIL go. Crazy, crazy move. Bounced off the VWAP once already, though. Looked good for that first VWAP bounce. It's kind of like the opposite of a fade, but it didn't look bad. Scared you. Yeah, I mean, it's one of those low float, big volume, parabolic moves. Cron looks interesting here. It just broke that trend line. Broke the high of the day as well for CRON. I mean, Alex, I just don't have the paper trading software right now, man. I could, I guess, but I mean, I've kind of mentally paper traded some today, but that's about it. Kind of looking at what I said my trade idea earlier was for AMD. Like I said, I wouldn't recommend it, but my long setup down here would have worked okay. At 1933s with a stop of 25. And ended up pushing up about 20 cents or so. That would have worked. Maybe something else I should look at. Yeah, nice, Ivan. Yeah, no problem. You know, I wouldn't stress about hanging it up now, man. That's kind of how you got to be sometimes, brother. I'm using Tefs, which is TradeNet's broker on the left side. Right here. It's like TradeNet's partnering broker. All right, Ivan. Have a good day, brother. I'll see you on Friday, man. I was surprised at how well these expensive stock followed the levels I drew. I don't really trade expensive stocks, but look how close that was. Kind of trending down though. See if we can find a trend line here. All right, you should be able to post it now. Two-way. Yeah, no stress two-way, no worries, man. But yeah, you should be able to now. HCC. Yeah, the problem with HCC, volume's just too low. Kind of a fade though, but volume's just a little low for that one. I mean, I'm not seeing it. I'm not seeing it two-way. For ABIL. Yeah, about 460 for 457s, 457 maybe. That's kind of the line previous high of the day. Appreciate the sub, Ronnie. Welcome, man. Appreciate it. Yeah, I appreciate the sub, Seal. Welcome, man. Appreciate it. Appreciate the sub, Frederick. Welcome, man. All right, guys. I don't think I'm probably gonna trade any today. I just haven't seen any fades that I really liked. AMD wasn't bad. It faded okay. But aside from that, I just haven't seen anything that kind of fits my strategy today, guys. Gotta take it slow when days like this happen. Ooh. So like I said earlier, if anybody wants to sign up to Trade Ideas, they have their Black Friday sale going on right now. It's 25% off, and so you can go through my link if you're interested. I just posted the link there. Yeah, Black Friday sale is 25% off. I make a commission from it, but if you want to help support the channel, you can go through our link, and I appreciate it if you do. But also, shout out to Trade Ideas. Trade Ideas is cool enough to let me stream their scans here. So if you're wondering what scanners I'm using, on the left side of my screen, it's Trade Ideas. Super customizable, really lets you build strategies, build scans for your strategies around them. And so shout out to Trade Ideas. Yeah, there's the link in the chat as well. But yeah, kind of a dull day for me. I just didn't see much I really liked. Not going to force it. Not going to force anything. Yeah, I appreciate it too. Yeah, everybody have a happy Thanksgiving. Market's closed tomorrow for the U.S. Thanksgiving holiday. So everybody have a happy one. And yeah, I'll see you all back here on Friday. And so we'll see how that goes. I think the 25% off sale for TradeNet's going on until the 26th. And so if you go to that jump to click link, you can reach out to them if you need to. But we'll see how the rest of the week goes. Just trying to take it slow, trying to use bigger sizing. But I think with bigger sizing, I have to be a little bit more selective in my trades, especially when I'm first kind of trying to transition to it. I'm only going to trade 200 shares and up from here on out. If it's less than $10, I would try to trade 300 shares, but we'll see how that works. But going to try to really scale up. I've been talking about it for months and months and months. I just think it's time, like I said, if you look at my graph is decent, but it doesn't reflect on my actual account because my sizing is so small. And so that's one thing I really, really need to do. I just need to do it. Mitch was telling me, I just need to stick to that sizing and just stick to it. Like I said, the basic trend of my trading is consistent gains, consistent gains, consistent gains. Okay, it's time for me to up my sizing. I raise my sizing, take a bigger loss, not used to the bigger loss, and so kind of run away back down to small sizing. Consistent gains, consistent gains, consistent gains. Try big sizing, take a bigger loss, run scared back down to small sizing. And so that's kind of what I need to do at this point, is just commit to big sizing. I may take bigger losses at first. It may take me a little bit longer to get my groove back with bigger sizing, but I think it's definitely necessary and it's time. And so we'll see what happens, man. Hopefully it reflects well. But if not, like I said, don't be too hard on me. It's a process for me. My graph is pretty, but it's just about using that sizing to compensate for it, man. I just gotta, it doesn't reflect in my account because my sizing's so small. So it's just time. Also, like I said, Thursdays have actually been the worst day of the week for me. I always thought Wednesdays was my kryptonite, but per my stats, Thursday is actually the day I've been doing the worst in the last month. And so we'll see. Maybe I have to consider that in my trading, honestly. We'll see how that goes as well. But yeah, appreciate it, Dex. Hopefully you're right, man. We'll see. But yeah, guys, good luck for the rest of the day. I'll see you all later. Have a happy Thanksgiving, all, and I'll see you all Friday. Yeah, for sure, two-way. Yeah, I just gotta develop a little bit thicker skin, I think, with it, two-way. I think it's like I said earlier, man, and I'm not trying to rant. I just think it's important for really new traders to understand this. I feel like there's so much misleading info in the trading world to where new traders that watch people on YouTube and just in general, they think to be profitable, they think if you're a profitable trader, you're never going to lose. Because so many people are just only showing their winners and they're not actually uploading their losers. They're hiding their account balance, profit and loss, and everything like that. And so I think it sets a bad precedent towards trading because they think that's what it is. And so then when you see somebody like me who's actually putting everything out there, I'm putting my account balance, I'm streaming all of my trades live. and they see me lose, they're like, oh, well, this guy sucks. He loses because, profitable traders never lose. And like I said, I think it's just the wrong precedent to set because most of the time, I'm not going to say any names, but most of the time, the traders that only post winners, most of the time they're only posting winners. They're not uploading their losers. It's really easy to have 4 trades, 3 losing trades, and 1 green trade, and then just kind of cherry pick that 1 green trade and just upload it. Like, look how much money I made today. And it's super common, and it's something new traders should understand. I just want to be honest with people, like regardless of win or lose, I'm just trying to be honest with people about my trading. I think that's what new traders really need to see. Not the fantasy world of never ending green days. That's just not plausible. That's not realistic. But yeah, happy Thanksgiving, guys. We'll see you all later. I'll see you all Friday. Have a happy holiday, happy Thanksgiving, and good luck for the rest of the day. We'll see you all later. Dex. Okay, here he says, I have a question I'm still trying to figure out before signing up. How bad is the slippage on orders? All I can really tell you, Dex, is about how I've been doing. Mitch seems to be struggling a little bit more with slippage than I have been. At the same time, I'm using smaller sizing than Mitch is, and so the slippage isn't going to be as significant for me. I know with market orders lately on TEFs, I've been getting filled in decent spots within 1, 2, or 3 cents away from the spread, and so the fill on market orders is decent. I haven't ever really gotten in, those big spread trades that have a huge spread and that are really moving quick. Most of the time, the stock's kind of consolidating when I get into it, and so I think the spread is going to naturally be a little bit better with those type of entries. But it just depends, man. Market orders haven't been doing me that bad, and I think that was what they switched with. I don't agree with the move. You know me, I usually always use limit orders. I got in on the ask if I'm short, bid on the bid if I'm long, and they worked fine. But market orders haven't been treating me that bad lately. But like I said, I'm using smaller sizing, and so it's not going to be as significant for me. And so that's all I can really say is how it's been for me. It hasn't been bad for me. Reach out to Mitch. Mitch has been dealing with, using larger sizing with his as well. But from what I see, market orders have been filling me okay. It just depends on the stock and a few other things. Pixel, it's not even that, man. It's not even long and short in 2 different accounts. What it is they don't show their profit and loss. And that's one of the big things. They're not their profit and loss. They don't show their account balance. And that's how you know, right? There's no reason not to show your account balance, especially if you're doing as good as you say you are. There's no reason not to show your account balance. If they're not, they can try to make excuses and justify why they're not showing you their account balance. But most of the time, they're not showing you their account balance because they're not showing you all of their trades. They're just showing you their winners. And it's, if you hide your account balance, it's really easy to just say, look how much money I made. Even though you might have had 3 losing trades before that 1 winning trade, it's really easy just to upload that 1 winning trade. Like, look how good of a trader I am. Look how much money I made. And I think it makes traders used to seeing that. And so when you have somebody that's actually honest about it like me, they're like, oh, you suck. You're a terrible trader. It's a scam. Like, whatever they want to say. But the truth is that they're actually being misled. Listen, man, you post 4 losing days in a month and a half. That's a pretty tough accuracy rate to back up, and some of them have tried to stream and then they take losses, after claiming to only have 4 losing days in a month. And then as soon as they stop streaming, they go back to only posting winners again, and it's super obvious for anybody that actually knows trading. I feel like traders, they watch somebody for so long that they ignore the very common red flags, because they maybe have a sense of loyalty to them, which I understand, but I just feel like new traders need honesty. I feel like new traders need to see the truth, which is like what trading really is like. Like I said, in the last month, I looked through it the last month, yesterday. In the last month, I've had 1 break-even week, 2 green weeks, and 1 red week. So I've had 2 green weeks, 1 red week, 1 break-even week in the last 4 weeks. And that's what trading's like. Every day's not going to be green. Every week's not going to be green. And if somebody tries to pretend that and act like it is, then, then most of the time they're misleading you. I'm not saying all of the time. I'm sure there are traders that actually have those, those accuracy rates, but most of the time they're being a little misled. And that's just kind of the state of the trading world, But I got to go, guys. Outcome trading. Just email me, Dex. You got my email, man. Later, guys. I'll see y'all later.